10,000. This is what you're hoping to get, but why such a large number?
Because the records they are supposed to deal with are more than 350 million and still continuing, because every year close to 1 million babies are born. So these are 350 million records, which stretches back from 1895. It's a big load. It needs a large number of people to deal with.
You know, as you're speaking about digitization, Minister, there are many factors to this. So on one side, I must applaud the Department of Home Affairs for finally going digital in terms of being able to capture this data. On the other side, though, I think it puts in even a greater pressure on you guys simply because of we know how much cybercrime has increased in this country, where I think we're sitting at about third in the world or so when it comes to the vulnerability of cybercrime. This is the very same criminals that are able to take the very same data that you're trying to capture and also want to trade it in for some kind of ransomware, right? So here it means a lot of considerations being made to mitigate against those criminal elements that would try to then take a hold of the data for some kind of profit.
Yes, of course, Faith. Look, we have to weigh the advantages versus the disadvantages. At the present moment, Faith, if you have gone to Home Affairs to apply for an unabridged birth certificate, unabridged marriage certificate, an amendment or a rectification on your name or your date of birth, if there's been mistakes, etc. It takes many months because officials need the original records. They have to go and look at 350 million records and search from there manually. Now, that's a very, very difficult job. It's better to digitize them so they are on your fingertips. Now, those who are in the know will have to help us how to deal with cybercrime.
So now, those you are saying are in the know and are to help you with cybercrime, I mean, that would then require you to, I would imagine, outsource those kinds of expertise because perhaps you do not have them with you. Is that something that you're going to be looking to do, essentially to, toughen up or beef up, the digital space, or at least this platform that you're going to be having that's going to be holding 350 million records? Are you looking to get expertise to come in and assist the department?
Of course, we still get expertise now. The issue of IT in government is both internal and is also outsourced. It all depends what you are looking for at any one particular time. But I am saying in digitizing the record will require those who are expert in cybersecurity to help us tighten whatever we have.
Yeah. You know, Minister, as we're looking at even the future of ORR in this country and the need for digitizing such data, it becomes imperative also to almost document, and we get to find a way of being able to document who's who in this country. Are you hoping this will almost filter down now in terms of who's in this country, who's legitimately in the country, who's not legitimately in the country? How many citizens do we actually have? Because even when it comes to the manual kind of documents, it's easy to falsify documentation without the extra verification. So through this process of digitization, does this give us a clearer indication, perhaps, in terms of who's who in the Republic?
Faith, before that, let me inform you that the issue of digitizing our records is not entirely new. Our records are being digitized by State South Africa for the past 5 years, but unfortunately, they are digitizing only 5 million records per annum. So that process is already on. The problem is that it is done on a small scale. We are just massifying what's already there. Now, your question about who is who in South Africa, these records, Faith, are the names of only those who are citizens. They are records which you will find on the National Population Register. The National Population Register only records people who are South Africans. If there is somebody who says South African by default, maybe by fraudulent means, this is not the process to catch them. The process to catch them is what has already happened. If you know, a month ago, I went to the Portfolio Committee to give a report by a team which I appointed in February 2021, which was chaired by the former Director General in the presidency, Dr. Cassius Lubisi, working with the people who used to work for the former Scorpions, data analysts of the SIU, and some of the people who were investigators in the State Capture Commission, the Zondo Commission. I put them all together to review all the records of permits of people who were permitted to be in South Africa since 2004. And I'm sure you are aware of the results they've given. They've unveiled quite a number of things, of people who were naturalized illegally, and etc. And they made a recommendation that we must appoint a multidisciplinary team of advocates, data analysts, etc., because a lot of dockets are going to be drawn, people are going to be charged, some are going to be looked for with a view to deport them. So that process is a different process, it's on already.
Minister, the matter of digitization, or rather at least this initiative, doesn't only address the matter of digitization and how faster you need it to be, but it also touches on the matter of unemployment. That's what now you are addressing in this particular case, where you are now giving 10,000 young graduates employment, and given the struggles of this country with unemployment, some would say kudos to the minister, kudos to the Home Affairs Department. But then comes the question, once those 350 million records have been put on the system, what happens to these 10,000, and I would imagine even more, young graduates who would then have possibly nothing to do afterwards?
Morena, that's why this project was announced by the President in his State of the Nation address as part of the Presidential Youth Unemployment Stimulus. Yes, indeed. And that's why out of the 2.4 billion rand budget, 90% goes to pay the stipend for these unemployed young graduates. So yes, it is serving two purposes: digitize our records, but at least have something to earn for the next 3 years. Now, if you look at the way the project is planned, it is also giving them skills, Morena. It's also giving them skills whereby after 3 years, it will be very easy for them to get jobs. But definitely, the contract we are drawing is for only 3 years, because the records will have been digitized. We are hoping also as a department, by the way, because we are also struggling in the field of IT, we are also hoping that we'll pick up those who will show themselves to be very competent during this process in order to hire them. But we also hope others will be hired in the private sector and also in the public sector permanently. So it's not just work, it's also part of training.
Yeah, work experience and the like. Minister, how does a young person actually get to be a part of it? Let's talk a little bit here about the nitty-gritties of application. So who are you looking for? What level of qualification are you looking for in terms of these young people? And more than anything else, what is the process of application? What are you looking for?
We are looking for unemployed graduates in the field of IT, documentation and document management from universities, universities of technology, and TVET colleges. Those are the young people we are looking for, and 60% of them must be women, young women, and only 40% young men. We are also looking for people with disabilities. Now, the process of applying, we have actually issued a website for the Department of Home Affairs and a website for the Department of Labor. And we said, and then they can also apply on digital platforms. Those who don't have any access to internet can go to any labor office in the country, where there is also already a database of those who are unemployed and who have graduated.
Minister, I mean, you of course mentioning the difference in terms of 60-40 of the employment of women and men. But, you will always have, you will never please everybody, So now you are put forward with a question from men to say, yeah, but we understand that women are the most disenfranchised in this country in terms of employment. But you do have a lot of men who are unemployed. So why only leave it to 40% and not perhaps make it equal in this case?
Are you not contradicting yourself, Morena? You yourself said, yes, you are aware that most of the unemployed people are women, and most of the disenfranchised people are women, and most of the low earners in the country are women. So nobody should be asking such a question if they are aware of such facts.
Is there an age limit, before I let you go, is there an age limit in terms of the graduates?
Yes. We say young people below the age of 35.
All right. Minister, yeah, it certainly is, I must say, that it is a way of creating employment. Yeah. 10,000 is 10,000 less people who will be unemployed in this country, 10,000 less graduates will be unemployed in this country for the next coming 3 years. So I am hoping that we're able to have that process just work out seamlessly. But more than anything else, I think it's also up to Home Affairs just to be aware of the storm ahead, if not mitigated against, where cybersecurity now becomes imperative if we are to keep those records safe. You know how they say that as the citizens get smart, the criminals get smarter, right?
We are aware of that, Faith. Actually, we live with that in Home Affairs all the time, more than any other department. Remember that we are working more with digital technology than any department I know of. If you look at our passports, our IDs, birth certificate, death certificate, we are the department that identifies people. And people would like to have different identities all the time for sinister motives. So we are quite aware of that. We are lively to that. And every single day, we are trying to find methods to evade it. But you can't run away from technology. You just have to find a way to beat them. Take, for instance, this issue of identity, Faith. All of you who are South Africans on the National Population Register, we identify you through your biometrics. That is a photo and a fingerprint. It is stored in a system called HANIS, Home Affairs National Identification System. Quite a number of times, people have defrauded that system. So as I'm speaking now, we are migrating South Africans to a new system called ABIS, Automated Biometric Information System, which doesn't have 2 biometrics but has 5. In other words, apart from the fingerprint and the photo, we are now adding iris recognition technique, which will recognize the iris in your eye. We are introducing a facial recognition technique. We are also going to take a print of your palm print, and we are also going to make sure that for children we take a heel print. But we are also changing laws as I'm speaking now, such that young people don't take their IDs at the age of 16 as it is, because police have complained that at the crime scene, when they look for fingerprints, they found fingerprints of children whose fingerprints we don't yet have on the National Population Register because they are not yet 16. So we are moving the age to 10 years. All those are being done to try and fight the issue of identity fraud, corruption, and cybercrime. But these are the things we are living with, but unfortunately, Home Affairs cannot do without them, because otherwise we won't be able to serve the population.
Yeah.
Most definitely, Minister. And obviously, we do hope that, you know, cyber experts out there have heeded your call to say, come and help the Home Affairs Department, because you, as you've mentioned, you are trying to do a lot to deal with identity problems in this country, but you cannot be doing it alone. But we are going to leave it there with you, Minister. Thank you so much for joining us here on the South African Morning. That is the Home Affairs Minister, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi.
I'm just here for the job creation aspect.
I'm here for the job creation.
Right.
And I'm hoping it doesn't end at 10,000. Like, I'm hoping that they feel 350 million, details to be put on the system is too much for 10,000, and they open that up.
Sure.